shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. Drink. Swalla la la.
Now Jason Derulo is kind of underrated, right? He was all over the place in the early 2010s with bangers like Wiggle, Talk Dirty, and Trumpet. Sure, his songs can get very repetitive, but he's got a knack for churning out viral hits every single time he drops an album. People used to place him in the same league as R&B big shots, Chris Brown and Usher, although he was not exactly thrilled about the Usher comparisons. He dropped about 4 solid albums, and then he kind of vanished around 2015. After that, it's kind of like the world moved on without him. So the question is, what happened to Jason Derulo? What up guys, Ali here and welcome to Ali Talks Music. Add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music as well. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's get into the video. Jason Derulo was born around 1989 in Florida. Both of his parents are Haitian, so Haitian Creole was his first language.
He was the sole reason why I started. I started when I was 5 years old. When I first saw him, I told my mom I was gonna be just like him.
Like most artists, Jason Derulo got into music when he was just a kid, diving into singing, dancing, and writing. Even wrote his first song at the age of 8 years old and went to a performance school in Florida.
I've been a student of music for a long time. I went to school for musical theater and I studied classical music, jazz music. So I mean, I'm just a student of music, so I love all music.
By his teenage years, Jason was already making big moves, writing tracks for big artists like Pleasure P, Cassie, Lil Wayne, and Pitbull. He didn't stop there though. He also worked with Diddy, Donnie Klang, and Sean Kingston. In fact, one of his early hits was the 2007 track Bossy by Birdman, where he co-wrote and featured.
Pick mama up riding with the paper plates. Big houses, 20 meals on the steaks.
But here's the thing, despite all of these accomplishments, Jason Derulo always wanted to be a solo artist. In fact, he struggled with the idea of selling his work instead of performing it himself. It was killing me. I had a huge attachment to the songs I was writing, but I had to give them up to make a quick buck. Being in music, I was just hoping something would happen, that somebody would notice me. And eventually, someone did notice. Jason Derulo's big break came when producer and label exec J.R. Rotem took an interest in Jason. But before that, Jason was already hustling. He had won the grand prize on Showtime at the Apollo in 2006. He was doing theater stuff and was sharing his songs on SoundCloud. Once Rotem discovered him, Derulo signed with Beluga Heights Records, a joint venture with Warner Brothers Records. Soon after this, it was time to drop his debut single, and it came out around 2009 called What Ya Say. And let's just say this song blew up.
What you say? That you only meant well.
Just 3 months later, it hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went 5 times platinum. This single basically launched him onto the international stage. After proving he could drop a hot single, it was finally time for Jason to drop an album. Jason then dropped a self-titled album around 2010, and it sold about 43,000 copies in the first week. The album had 4 more hit singles, In My Head, Riding Solo, What If, and The Sky's the Limit. Now I have to admit the album was pretty good in my opinion. Since the album was about 9 tracks long, there were hardly any fillers, and just about every track was made to make you dance. Now at just 21 years old, Jason Derulo was proving he was not just a talent, but also a super hard-working person. By 2011, he had wrapped up his second album, Future History, which dropped around September of 2011. Future History rolled out 6 singles, including the hits Don't Wanna Go Home, It Girl, Breathing, Fight For You, Undefeated, and Pick Up The Pieces. Now at this point, it became very clear that Jason Derulo was more concerned with making hits than dropping solid bodies of work. In fact, whenever Jason dropped a hit, people praised him for it. It's almost like he couldn't do no wrong until it was time to drop a project. Now here's the thing, the album could have been bigger, but Derulo could not promote it well. Why? Because of a freak accident. In 2012, while prepping for his Future History tour, he was doing this insane stunt, 50 backflips in a row, as part of his endurance test. The thing is, he eventually slipped, broke his neck, and had to cancel all of his tour plans. So, despite having solid singles, Jason had a hard time promoting his album because of a broken freaking neck.
Are you freaking kidding me? Are you serious? You didn't just do that. Oh my goodness, Kurt, you cannot be that lazy.
Whoa, you're calling me lazy? I want to gold medal with a broken freaking neck.
Oh my goodness, if you pull that Olympic gold medal card on me one more time.
So despite having solid singles, the album did not get the push it deserved. Now after his neck injury, Jason had his girlfriend Jordan Sparks by his side. They started dating around 2011 and she was extremely supportive during his recovery. The injury did impact the success of his second album, but it didn't stop his career. In fact, by May of 2012, less than 5 months post-injury, Derulo was back on TV, and this time he was performing on American Idol. He also ventured into TV, joining Kelly Rowland as a dance master on the Australian show Everybody Dance Now.
We're having a practice day so that we can do it tomorrow. We're all good. We know what we're doing. So you'll see a bunch of dancers. You'll see the producers, ADs, everything. Backstage, access, it's going down. Just
The show got cancelled after just 4 episodes, but Jason kept exploring TV opportunities. He appeared in the sitcom State of Georgia, and he was also a musical guest on Dancing with the Stars in 2013, but music was still his main gig. So, Derulo went back to focusing on music. Then around September of that year, Jason dropped his 3rd album, Tattoos. This one was not released in the US, but the singles were pretty good. I'm talking The Other Side, Marry Me, Talk Dirty, Wiggle, and Trumpets, with Wiggle and Talk Dirty being the biggest songs on the project.
You talk dirty to me. You talk dirty to me.
Now despite his comeback, and despite winning in the eyes of the public, Jason Derulo's relationship was becoming strained. After about 3 years of dating Jordan Sparks, their relationship ended, and they split because Derulo felt pressured to marry at just 25 years old. Something he was not ready for. Now after the split, Jordan Sparks moved on pretty quickly. By July of 2015, she was dating Sage the Gemini and even hinted at seeing marriage in her future. Jason Derulo, on the other hand, admitted that he had not found love yet and that he was not looking for anything serious anytime soon. Now 2015 was a very weird year for Jason. He was still around, but it kind of felt like the R&B scene was moving away from Jason, slowly but surely. Despite this, he really threw himself into work, both in TV and in music. He landed a gig as a guest judge on the 12th season of So You Think You Can Dance, and began dropping singles for album number 4, Everything Is 4. This album got a lot of praise from the public, and spawned singles like Want to Want Me, Try Me, Chien, and Get Ugly. Now some of these songs were pretty big, however, they were not performing as well as past singles. So 2015 came around, and let's just say Derulo's career was beginning to decline. His singles were not hitting as hard as before, almost signaling that his time in the spotlight was beginning to fade. To signal this decline, Derulo faced some challenges in his personal life. The first major one happened around August of 2015 at an airport. Jason and his team were flying from Reno to LA. When they found out TSA pre-check was down, Jason asked for a VIP escort to skip the line, but got denied. This led to a very heated argument with airport staff. They were eventually told that Jason could fly, but his crew had to wait in line. Ignoring this, they all went through security anyway, which led to them being booted off the flight by airport security. They ended up taking a private jet, but the whole thing was a mess, and Jason still felt wronged. Then about 2 months later, Derulo had a performance in Johannesburg at a very prestigious South African event. He ended up replacing Christina Aguilera, who had dropped out due to scheduling conflicts. But during his set, Jason made one big mistake he asked the audience in South Africa if they could speak English.
Yeah. I mean, y'all speak English, right?
Big mistake. English is one of South Africa's 11 official languages, so that did not sit well with the audience. After this, the people were outraged and called for him to leave the country. Derulo apologized on Twitter, but by then the public had already moved on. Then around 2017, Derulo found himself in hot water once again, this time involving a limousine service in California. The company claimed that Jason and his friends vandalized one of their vans. The story goes like this. After a night out, Derulo hired a limo to take them home. When they got to his house, he asked the driver to take them right to the door, but the driver said no. And that's when things got heated. According to the limo company, Derulo and his crew took their anger out on the car. They punched the stereo system, broke champagne glasses, and then used the glass to scratch up the car. The company ended up suing Derulo for about $10,000 in May. But according to Derulo, he did not damage the vehicle and he wasn't even there. Now between 2016 and 2019, Jason kept a lower profile but stayed very active in music, dropping several singles. Only a few made a real splash, like the 2x platinum Swalla with Nicki Minaj and Ty Dolla $ign. He also dropped the gold certified Tiptoe with French Montana. He then announced album number 5 called 777, and then he renamed it to Two Sides, and then he finally decided to split it into 2 EPs. The first part, Side 1, came out as a 7-track project in 2019, and the second part was supposed to come out in 2020, but it did not materialize thanks to label issues. So, Jason Derulo kept doing what he does best, dropping hot singles and making TV appearances.
I'm Jason Derulo, live in LA, big city of dreams where it's all going down today.
On TV, he appeared in Empire, Lip Sync Battle, CMT Crossroads, and the list goes on. Then around 2020, Jason found himself in another controversy, this time involving music rights. He came across a beat on YouTube called Laxed Siren Beat, an instrumental by Josh685, a 17-year-old producer from Auckland. Josh made the beat in 2019 and put it on YouTube where it went viral. Inspired by the beat, Derulo quickly wrote the lyrics and made Savage Love, which became a huge hit on TikTok. Savage love, when you kiss me, I know you don't. Then around May of 2020, he teased the song on social media, but he did not give Josh any credit for the song. They eventually reached a compromise, and Josh got credited as a producer, artist, and co-writer on the song. So around January of 2022, Jason was involved in another incident. This time he got into a physical altercation with fans who mistook him for Usher. The confrontation happened in Las Vegas in a hotel. As Jason and his group of friends passed 2 hecklers on an escalator, one of them yelled, "Hey Usher, f you bitch."
Hey Usher, why you slapping? Why you slapping?
Now it's clear they were just trolling and were simply trying to get a reaction. And that's what they got. Jason reacted by punching one of them in the face, knocking him to the ground, and then slapping the other. Now, although the police were called, the hecklers chose not to press charges, and the situation quickly dissolved from there. Since then, Derulo seems to have stepped back from the music scene. He hasn't dropped an album since 2015 and appears to be more focused on acting, TV roles, and his presence on TikTok. While Derulo continues to make music, he isn't dropping as much as he used to, but nonetheless his album streams are still solid. On Spotify he has 32.5 million monthly listeners, and his most listened to songs are What You Say, Talk Dirty, Want to Want Me, Acapulco, and Take You Dancing. That's it for me, it's your boy Ali. What happened to Jason Derulo in your opinion? Let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.